Kind of wonder what they saw. We did just vanish in the thin air or something.
No luck, I'm afraid. It appears she's not in Mare Lamentorum.
Doop-a-doop-a-doop. Just locked it up. Being such a show-off, showing them.
Is that?
Sorry to keep you waiting.
God, you had us worried. You suddenly disappeared. We didn't know what to think.
Shortly after you vanished, the Void-sent incursion abruptly ended. We surmised you had a hand in that, but never did it cross our minds that you were fighting alongside Zero and Golbez.
This golden path you said you traversed wasn't visible to us either. Nor did we hear a voice. Ethos. Might this be the key's true name?
While many mysteries remain, for now, I am glad to learn the state of affairs in the 13th. Golbez's suspicion that the barrier twixt worlds has begun to weaken. 'Twould certainly explain the surge in fissures manifesting in the source.
Yet what could be behind such a phenomenon?
Oh boy.
And who might you be? Not her Void-sent, I'd wager.
Greetings.
Hello, Asian.
I am Helmarut of the Asians. We are your sworn foes, I know. But on this occasion, will you not put away your arms? I wish only to talk.
Very well.
Thank you for affording me a chance.
So that lacks the bravado with the other Asian.
Bereft of the unsundered, we were under the impression you and yours no longer had cause to continue your activities. That you should reveal yourself at this juncture. I assume you are the one who bestowed Calyx with the knowledge of summoning and the reflections.
Yes, that is correct.
Was it necessary to reveal my present form as well? Calyx. So he succeeded in transferring his memories after all. Be at ease. Even were I to occupy a combat-oriented vessel, I would not have the ability to defeat you. You destroyed my plan, my life's work. I have naught to replace it, nor will I ever regain what I once had.
If you wish to speak, Halmarut, will you not tell us what it is that you hope to accomplish?
As you know, our star Aetheris was sundered into 4 and 10 shards in the time of the Ancients. As the will of the star, Hydaelyn perpetuated this unnatural division for millennia. And in the wake of her passing, nature has begun to reassert itself. As a wound knits itself together, the star seeks to become whole once more. Yes, it seeks to rejoin with all of its shards. Unlike the one we Ascians attempted to orchestrate, however, the star's rejoining will afford mankind no special treatment. All life and matter will be condensed into a single whole and remade for a new beginning. A complete rebirth. Aetheris will return to the way it once was. Hundreds of millions of years past. To a quiet and peaceful time. Long before the light of mankind was kindled.
Supposing for a moment we believe you, how can you possibly know all this?
It is an inevitability that I have foreseen since time immemorial. A future that awaits should creation be freed from the influence of Hydaelyn and Zodiark. The star is tolerant to life. It holds no grudges, and neither rages nor weeps for being sundered. Yet by the same token, it is indifferent to life's survival. No amount of devastation and death can compel it to stop the wheels of creation from turning. The earth shakes, and mountains spew fire. Floods wash away the fruits of labor, and icy winds freeze and starve. Countless perish as nature runs its course. So many seeds of life have already been lost. Yet in spite of this, people continue to believe that the morrow will come. But it will not. For nothing lies beyond the Solstice, when all creation is reunited. When that day comes, every last trace of mankind shall be erased. I cherish man's journey, Despite losing his innocence and being made to live with suffering, he has forged ever onward. Strong, even as he is weak, his is a proud tale in the history of the star. It would be a shame for that tale to end. For all to wither and die, when some might yet survive. Would you not agree?
If a natural rejoining doth lead unto the solstice, then thine intent is to preemptively rejoin the worlds.
Correct. It was for this very purpose that Halmarut recruited suitable collaborators from the Reflections. Individuals like me, who would willingly doom another world in order to fulfill their aspirations. The Winterers, we are called. And if you and yours seek to protect all life, then sooner or later you shall have to contend with us.
Even if everything you claim is true, what you've done, Calyx, it's unforgivable!
I do not ask that you be pragmatic, nor do I seek your approval. Given your familiarity with other reflections, 'tis only natural that you are averse to our methods. But there is one irrefutable fact that you must understand. Should we take no action at all, the solstice will come, and no one will be left alive. No one. Of course, should it serve to satisfy your ambition, you are welcome to deal with the reflections as you deem fit.
Is that Xenos's?
The pariah and wanderer who satisfied his own when he brought the star to the brink of ruin to face you.
Where did that come from?
Wait!
Where did that even... Oh, it was just an illusion. I'm like, there's no friggin' way. Well, this complicates everything, doesn't it? But it kind of fits with what I kind of thought was going on. That removing Heidel and Zodiark has created a kind of a cascading effect here. To think the individual of Calyx Ilk or worse exists on other shards. You'll have to forgive me, I'm still coming to terms with it all. Halmarut can't be speaking the truth, can she? The Ascians once labored to resurrect Zodiark and bring back those who have rendered up their lives to summon him. For the sake of those who now live, we fought tirelessly to oppose them. If Halmarut does seek a rejoining adverse to this solstice, to ensure some survive while all others will perish, our interests are not so dispersed. True, trust the Ascians to be plotting something utterly unreprehensible. I am tempted to dismiss a pretense of rejoining as an utter absurd conclusion, or words are not to be taken lightly. There you are. One moment you were standing before me, next you vanished into thin air. Thanks to you all, the void set have been eradicated and the gate lies sealed. Once more, there has never been a peep from the crater. I can't help but notice none of you seem to share my enthusiasm. Is something wrong? The Tsar seeks to become whole, but that's preposterous. As far as I'm aware, Heidelin made no mention of a natural rejoining. I ought to consult the records to be certain. But Not before thanking you for dispatching the Void Sense so handily. You well and are truly saving the day. I realize the present circumstances are hardly conducive to doing so, but please take some time to get some rest when you can. I know you're exhausted after your trials in the Void. Trail to the heavens. Alphinaud continues to grapple with Halmarut's disclosure. The implications of Solstice and the Winter's schemes, as well as our approach moving forward, will take some time to consider. To that end, I believe we should gather and speak in person. And by we, I mean all of our fellow Scions. For a change of pace, why don't we convene at the Rising Stone? I'm sure Tataru and the others would be happy to meet us there. A fine idea. In many ways, our return is long overdue. No doubt we could all use some respite after Garlemald, but I trust there are no objections. 'Tis settled, to the Rising Stones. In spite of time vigil, some things endure. This sanctuary is surely among them. Since leaving for Thrall, we have been almost constantly on the move. It feels good to put my feet in some familiar stomping grounds. Feels like a lifetime ago when I first set foot in these walls, though given we are all experienced a lifetime worth of traps and tribulations in the interim, perhaps it was only natural. 'Tis a pity my stay in Thrall came to such a abrupt end. I would like to make arrangements to stay in touch with Shyle. There was much more to be taken care of in Garlemald, even after tending to the wounded. I'll be sure to share my full report with Okala. At times like this, a company of friends is all more precious. Everything has changed since we last gathered here. No doubt Tataru is chiefly responsible for the prevailing state of tidiness. Speaking of whom, she and many of our comrades are en route. Let's wait for them a while longer.
Long it hath been since last we gathered here. Though our order's dissolution was indeed in name only, thereafter we did largely operate independent of one another. All of which is to say, full glad am I to stand in such esteemed company once more.
Apologies for our delay.
It's the B team.
Reporting for duty, as bid.
This is everyone that we could round up on short notice. The Estinian alone we weren't able to make contact with. But we're
No doubt his link pearl is buried at the bottom of his bag.
Knowing him, he'll turn up when we least expect it.
That's usually how it goes.
Now, as much as I'd like to savor our reunion, Tataru tells us there have been developments. Will you apprise us of the details?
Yeah, you're not gonna like them.
The Winterers and the Solstice.
The veracity of Halmarut's claims remains unclear. Yet it cannot be denied that, in his bid to convert the living into endless, Calyx was privy to knowledge of the reflections and more.
And the Winterers are formed of others, like him.
So it appears.
In light of the recent Void Sense incursions, I believe it would be wise to treat the Solstice as a genuine threat. The problem is how to deal with it.
Both the source and the reflections are home to irreplaceable life. I would protect them all if I could. But if doing so means ushering in complete annihilation, then what can we possibly do? I wonder, was Hydaelyn aware of the Solstice?
Given that we had no knowledge of it when you journeyed to Elpis, you couldn't have warned Venar. So it is entirely possible she was unaware. But in the course of sustaining the Sundered Star, she may have glimpsed this eventuality.
I mean, it's hard to say. I think she knew and chose to trust in us.
So she believed that we could overcome this trial as well. Or rather, that the choice was ours to make.
Whichever it may be, it is we who must find the answer. We who live in the here and now.
Perhaps we could take a recess? Oh, I dare say everyone could use a rest.
Indeed. We have ample food for thought, and it would be good to catch each other up.
Ere I forget, Heron, I believe you should keep the key, Ethos, in your possession. After all, it seems that is one mystery I am not destined to unravel.
Yeah, that key's gonna be our ticket to handling every situation, so... Seems like our colleagues have much to catch up with each other on. I shall have to brew some tea. Don't worry about me, I'm sure you have plenty to discuss with these old faces. It was no means an easy decision, but the Solstice is now our primary concern. Alice and I have opted to formally withdraw from our efforts in Garlemald. After all, anything we can do to protect our world will also serve keeping the Garleans safe. Julius and his comrades are currently working towards a brighter future of their own accord. Honestly, I'm more worried about us. It's difficult to see the path ahead, but hopefully we can get through this and return to Garlemald with our heads held high one day. Indeed, in the meantime, let us prepare a letter for Julius and the community. We must less despair stay our hand. Slay's development is indeed a shock, but I'm hard to see not a single face clouds with despair. Help propel the Void Set incursion in Lamus Monoliths. Fighting off fiend-controlled Galates was something I would not rush to relive, but it was nonetheless good training. Cortil and I had remained in Corvus to monitor the situation among the Garleans and the Corvists. Those sent them smooth sailing in the region settled, we were able to return. I understand the Garlean community has made great strides improving relations with other people. Hearing that, I feel a renewed zeal for resolving the issues in Corvus. And perhaps you'd like to hear more about the Garlean accomplishments from me and the twins. Might stroke the fires even hotter. Taru was ever the considerate facilitator. Grateful I am to refrain from the weighty discussions and can simply converse with old friends. After Irinanje and I went off on our own, we decided to spend some time exploring Za Tirol. We never had a chance to visit during the Rite of Succession, you see. We journeyed east through La Rosette before heading up to the coast of the Frigid's northern reaches, where they revered a storied beast of the sea. The excursion only sufficed to reinforce how diverse Tirol really is. We also met with the Wallaki. Though we did not have time to study the arts at length, we were privy to several intriguing demonstrations. Would that be that we could have indulged our curiosity further and traveled yet more distant lands? For better or worse, pragmatism tempered our wanderlust. Suffice to say, we have plenty to see on the continent, should I very much like to return, given the chance. Oh, Honor, I hope you'd come to your senses, but I still you see in the thrones of withdrawal. The brothers are reunite, yet a distance between them persists. How cruel fate had forced me to choose. You never changed, do you, lady? Judging by your guise, Clement, your studies must have been productive. Indeed, I've more or less mastered the fundamental principles of Charlian astrology. At one point I considered exploring other healing arts, but I decided to preserve more focused training to better leverage my skills on the battlefield. I don't think I have much use on the battlefield these days. I can scarcely hold my bow straight, let alone hit a target. The breath of my bloody missiles I am. I knew you would still require constant supervision. You two haven't changed in the slightest. Makes you wonder how our colleagues that couldn't join us are faring. Hearing our comrades' tales reminds me of my effort to master Pictomancy. We've come so far and strive so hard. Even after discussing the revelations concerning Calyx, there's a great deal to share. 'Tis difficult to know where to begin. Honor and I were training in Gridania when the Void Sun attacked the 12's Woods. Thankfully, we were able to fend them off with the help of the Twin Adders. When I heard the invasion had spread across the star, I realized the gravity of the situation, ordered a confidential report sent to the other Scions. That's why Tarturo was so quickly appraised. Thanks to you, we were able to make haste for Garlemald. Circumstances duty may keep us apart. We are bound by a common purpose. Indeed, and may that purpose continue to guide us now that we are standing together once again. Seems everyone had much more to discuss with one another. Anyway, I think you're overdue for a proper break. The peace and quiet will help you think. Feel free to make yourself comfortable in Dawn's respite.
Of course, should it serve to satisfy your ambition, you are welcome to deal with the reflections as you deem fit. Like the pariah and wanderer who satisfied his own when he brought the star to the brink of ruin to face you.
Low blow, lady.
I detest evenings such as this. Too bright, too stimulating. The mind distracted by the inconsequential.
And what do you want?
You needn't be so wary. I merely come to offer information before my departure. Halmarut and I will soon cross the rift to observe the enactment of another Winter's plan. Our destination is the Fourth.
The Fourth?
A world locked in ice, whose lands are blanketed in thick clouds. In order to survive, man has fled to the skies, using great magics to establish new civilizations.
Why are you telling me that you're going?
I have my own designs I would see realized. Nothing more. Believe me or don't, as you like. For all I know, you lack the means to follow us anyway. What Halmerot said to you earlier. She suggested that dealing with the reflections might satisfy your ambition. But is that truly so? You have seen battles beyond counting, have defeated even the fear of death. Is there some conclusion that you seek, no matter the cost? I will share with you a truth. We Winterers each have an ambition that we wish to fulfill. To that end, we may share information with one another, but we do not necessarily share the same beliefs. Just as you and yours decried my actions, I find those of my fellows objectionable. Be that as it may, it is the culmination of our lives' works that we would bring to the world. Fruits born of undying devotion, daring aspiration, and unwavering ideals. No matter how we are reviled, no matter what we must steal, our actions will be vindicated by those who abide in the future we create. In your benevolence, you may seek to save everything and everyone. But once all is consequently consigned to oblivion, your noble deeds will amount to nothing more than folly. For no living soul shall remain to judge them.
A little bit of uncertainty there. A lot of uncertainty. Shattered swords are doomed to mend. How turns the key to the winter's end. We'll let you know when discussions are set to resume. Until then, do please get some rest. We must assert the validity of Halmerot's claims. I shall send word to my colleagues in Charlie, and they may be able to provide us valuable insight. As the word of the mother, Menphilia conveyed the will of the star. Surely she would have known if nature itself ran counter to that will. I mean, not necessarily. I wonder whose voice it was that named the key Eos. The more we learn, the more mysteries abound. Yeah, I know Julius knows you met with Zero. I'm sure he'll wish to hear how she fares. When you have a moment, I should hear more of your trip to the 13th. Few tales of trial reach Corvus. Even today, I'd like to hear of your adventures next time we meet. Alphinae and Alizé, fit to relinquish their responsibilities in Garlemald and concentrate on the fight ahead. I likely will be reprising my duties as Scion, wherever that might take me. I'll be making headway with my training, but I have a long way to go to compare to the present company. I look forward to learning from the best again someday. And at least Fred, a little interest in your sister. This obsession has gone too far. You know, a long conversation. This is my chance. You sound like you face a tough fight in the void. I know your instincts to charge into a fray, but even heroes need some rest. I'll keep a base of the situation in Garlemald via reports from the Isambard contingency. Should another crisis arise, we should not hesitate to provide support. Knowing the connection between the 1st and the 13th fills me with joy. Okay, so what to make of this whole situation? So my guess at this point so far has been more or less on point. That basically without Hydaelyn Zodiark, the shards are basically being forced back together. And this natural method of doing so is far more destructive than the calamity-based method used by the Ascians. The Winters tend to try to resolve this by basically forcing the rejoinings through some other method, because they don't have the method to create calamities on the source very easily anymore, so they must be trying to do something else. What's most interesting about Calix's dialogue there at the end is it indicates that the Winterers are not completely of one mind. They're working together in a vague sense, but they seem to be operating in other ways, so there's still a lot to be said. It also does explain the timing of the patch, as it does. We did need the context from the trailer, otherwise everything would have been revealed through that final dialogue that we were going to the 4th and all that, which also explains why they didn't bother hiding the fact that we're going to the 4th during the fan fest, but that's part 1. We won't have the second part till September, so we'll have to wait and see what comes of that at that point. That's it for this portion of everything. Thank you for joining me in the Nexus of Realms as always, and we'll see you next time.